You know, have a Facebook page. Really? A Facebook page? All right, it's Jay. Desiree just for you guys online, or when you come online, this will be recorded and put in our YouTube. All right, for all of those who are here, welcome and thank you for coming. We're going to go ahead. Make sure I'll give a couple seconds before we start singing. I don't want to catch anybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I brought this up and I'm still trying to put everything on module 5. Like I said, module 5, we're going to do I will eat, I will not eat. So that's a new conjugation. Since you guys have been with me through conjugation, you guys should pick this up really fast. That's why I'm going to go ahead and do 2. And then after we do those 2, you'll be caught up with my conjugations that I've learned. So I've got to get the books. And then whatever I learn, I will forward to you guys. You can stay on my list whenever whenever I find out anything, I will forward it to you. Even if it's just our cultural history, something. I'm pretty sure you guys are excited about, learning our history, culture, and language. Yeah. So, that's one of the things that language is. It's encompassing our history and our culture. And it's not just language. People don't realize that if you lose your language, that's part of your history and culture. All right, so thanks, Jay. You guys can just sign in. Here's the printouts of the grabbing one, and then the boxes are in the back. So that's what we're going to go over is, like I said, for module 4, I will eat, I will not eat. And then we're still going to incorporate all of our vocabulary for module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm still trying to clean all that up. I still see some things that I need to edit. All right, so let's go ahead. Nobody's chewing. All right, let's go ahead and sing our song. I always love hearing our language, and I like hearing our songs when we're singing. So, with the language, how many of you guys like to sing our hymns? So, if I could find somebody who would be willing to come and sing a couple of hymns, lead us in a couple of hymns, would that interest you guys? All right. There's maybe a couple of people who may be able to do that, just looking at people's schedules. I'll see if we can get somebody to come in here and just sing. I was told that I can have storytellers come in here and tell stories. And, if you want to, we can even, dig into that, later on tonight. You got a story to tell, you're not on camera, but people would like to hear it. I know some people like to tell their story, but don't want to be on camera, and that's fine with me. All right, so let's go ahead and we've got a couple of new people today. I just want to, thank them for coming and just have them introduce themselves. And could I have you introduce yourself? Really? Yeah.
No, I'm the first person who's seen it.
Are you, what tribe are you?
I'm a multitude, but I am around the Mvskoke Station. I'm also Seminole by way of my dad, my late dad, and my late mom, Kyle Shan.
I spoke with you today.
Yeah. I feel like I'm told you. I'm sorry I didn't call you that.
Not a problem. I know we all get busy. Welcome. And then can I have you help?
I'm Vanessa Tiger. I'm a Mvskoke and enrolled in Seminole.
I'm Seminole as well. I'm enrolled Seminole here. I'm Mvskoke Creek and Mississippi Choctaw. But on your language, were you guys beginning? You guys speakers, or were you guys having?
I went all the way through the College of Mvskoke Nation language program and graduated, but I don't use it every day, so I'm losing it.
Okay. And then you?
The only thing I know is who him, Madame, and 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna call him Gina.
Okay.
That's all I know.
That's something. That's something. I graduated from College of Mvskoke Nation as well in 2022. So I went through that whole program, and those of you who have time, I think it's all online now, so you can do it from home. But that's a good program. They also teach some of the history and some of the some things you probably won't get in the language class. They'll teach you some.
Yeah, my late aunt, she taught it at Review for a while before she passed. She was 80-something. Her name was Margaret Malden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was her. That was my dad.
That name is known. Okay. My mom took Creek there. It was in 2004, something like that. So 2003, somewhere around there. But yeah, that's where I didn't know that it was taught in some of the colleges. And OSU, I've seen it online when I was looking online. They had it at one time. But like I said, we're trying to build our speakers, and we're trying to capture the young ones and the young adults and the teenagers. All right, so we are going to.
Can I add one more thing, Desiree?
Yeah.
I just want to teach my baby. She's 5 years old.
Okay.
So I want her to know what people in position are going for.
So on that, because I was teaching my grandbaby, there are some YouTubes that have our alphabet, the numbers, the colors, and they had it in some sentences. They have had that, and I had her parents play that while she was playing. She picked it up like that because they pick it up really fast. When I was studying language acquisition, they said from in utero to about 6 years old is the best time to teach language, and they'll pick it up really fast. And you can teach them more than one language, and they won't get confused.
I teach her some Spanish. I know a little Spanish. So I teach her Spanish too.
Yeah, you know, when you go into Europe, they know 4 or 5 different languages. Whatever country they're in, they switch. So that's really impressive. And if you look at our history of the Creek people, you had Spanish come through, you had English come through. They knew Spanish, English, French, you know, Mvskoke, you know, the different dialects. So we were multilingual people back then. All right. Since you guys are new, let's go ahead and just introduce ourselves. And before we get started,
one more thing. Sorry. I'm a substitute teacher.
Okay.
And I'm loving.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start over here. Whoa, you start over here then. Just your name and what tribe you are, and kind of where you're at in your language journey, beginning, middle, or.
My name is Pauline and Seminole Creek.
Little ones. I'm Robin Davis. She's my sister. She's in Seminole, and I'm in Road Creek.
Yeah. I always tell my dad, it's all right. I tell you,
It's crazy.
All right, next.
Okay, my name is Carol Tiger, and my grandfather was Greek and Rome, and my mother is from the Rap.
where are you at on your language? Your beginning, middle, or?
Beginning of Creek.
Okay.
And I want to continue forever.
Right, yeah, okay.
My name is Philip. I'm Eugene and I'm a citizen of Mvskoke Nation. Got a long ways to go till yet on language learning, but so beginner.
Okay.
Cherry Park Line, Seminole Creek, beginner.
Okay.
Nancy Barnett, I love full-blood Mvskoke, and I think I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Nancy Barnett, still beginning.
Still in the beginning. Okay.
I'm Christina again, and I'm a baby.
Okay.
I'm not looking at
Lucinda Myers, Jessica Fidelis, Christina Scotto, Mom, Seminole, and I'm towards the almost touching the intermediate.
Okay, all right. And like I said, Desiray, Fidelis, I'm Seminole Creek in Mississippi Choctaw. I'm learning. I'm not a very beginner, but constantly learning. So I try to teach how I learn, and I'm still learning. I love talking to our Mvhayvs up there that are first speakers, because I'm always learning something new. And they all speak differently. So if you ask somebody a question, depends on who you ask, what kind of answer you get. You know, one of the things that comes up really often is happy birthday. We didn't have happy birthday, so you ask 3 different Mvhayvs, get 3 different answers, because that's not really, you know, a native thing. But you know, so I'm always learning, and what I learn, I try to share with you guys, because you know, it's like we're just trying to help each other, lead each other through the language. All right, so we are going to just go over what we've already learned, and then we'll jump onto the new stuff. So when we're learning these things, remember when we start making sentences, and that's one thing that I've like I said, it depends on who you ask on how to make a sentence or how something is right or not the way they do it. So I'm trying to put together all of these different ways of doing the same thing and present it to you guys in a way that's helpful and that'll kind of capture a little bit of everything. But then at the same time, you have to be careful that, because if you try to put everything together, it's not going to make sense. That's why we haven't done sentences so much, but we're just doing the simple sentences. But, you know, like I said, maybe through Zoom, we can continue and just keep adding to sentences and speaking. All right, so pumpkin, pokolin, tutinen, Osten, chakiven, ipagen, olabagen, chinabagen, ostabagen, pollen. Right, so when we're talking about like one of the things that when we were learning our numbers, I had put out there on Facebook, Mvskoke, which is grape dumplings. And so I was asking the Mvhayv, how do I know what's the word for one cup? And she goes, I'm getting siskida. So cup 1. I was like, wow, I go and then I asked her about some of the other, what do you say, like half a cup. And she told me, and I don't recall, but these are where our numbers come in. I'm eating, I'm eating 2 apples. I'm buying 2 apples, So this is where our numbers come in. And whenever we make sentences, sometimes instead of saying girls, you say there are 2 girls, there are 3 girls, because when we're making something plural in Mvskoke, you don't just add an S. And that's one of the topics that comes up. That some of the people that are learning, and this is, and even some of the people that know Creek, they start doing Creeklish, add an S, even though in Creek you don't. So you have Creek and English added together, but you can't always do that. So sometimes you just add the number so you know that there's more than 1 apple. 5 strawberries, 10 strawberries. Whenever you come across something, one of the things I have to do is look at the dictionary a lot. And our new words of the day, I'm starting to do the family, because I'm using the old dictionary, which is the white dictionary. And some of the Mayans were like, I've never seen that before, but it's an older dictionary than the green dictionary. And I thought it would be cool just to try to, learn some of the old words. All right, these are infinitive verbs. How many people remember our infinitive verbs? We all remember our infinitive verbs. Okay. So these are the verbs when we're conjugating. Remember that we go to stand, to I am standing, you are standing, we are standing. We sit up, to stand. Ayida, to go. Ayida, to make. Nisida, to buy. Umbida, to eat. Iskida, to drink. Hijida, to see. Getida, to learn. All right, and like I said, we may put on here. I usually put on here our speakers speaking it, but when I put it in a different folder, sometimes the sound doesn't come with it. So I will go back and put the sound with it, and you will hear the speakers saying it. And one thing we're trying to emulate is how the speakers say it. So another of our Mvskoke infinitive verbs, let's see if it'll work.
Litkida, Nojida, Laigida, Yagabida, Wakida, Akobanida, Obanida, Daskida.
So when I teach, I tell you how I say it, litkida, Nojida, Laigida, Yagabida, Wakida, Akupanida, Upanida, Daskida. Sometimes, like I said, my pronunciation is not like the speakers, but you can understand what I'm saying. And we're all trying to get to how the speakers say. So these are the infinitive verbs that we're still going to use when we conjugate our new conjugations. I've been looking for the new infinitives, but the ones that I was already taught, you guys already know. So now I've got to go through the dictionary and find them. It's not just in a list that I've already learned, so that's what's taking so long on the infinitives. And let's see if I can find the other infinitives. Here's another infinitives. All right, see, Yehegida, to sing, Okida, and that's to hear. And it's like the PB, Okida, and then Opanida, to speak, to talk, Opanida, Ojejida, to write, Oponagida, to read, Egekida, to cry, Updada, to go about, Adoptida, to work.
Yahegida, Pohida, Abonayida, Hochejida, Ohonayida, Hagekida, Asida, Adotkida.
You couldn't read my writing. that was my fault. So these are the infinitive verbs that we're going to use, and whenever I find the other infinitive verbs, I will present that as well. So with our infinitive verbs, let's go ahead and look at our colors. Does anybody want to try the first one? Johnny. This one? Milani. Okay. Milani. Milani. Lusty. Lefty. Johnny.
Oh.
So that was one of the things, like we were talking about teaching the young ones. It was on that YouTube video, and my daughter, my grandbaby, kept listening to it while she was playing. They would just put it on. And one time she came up to me and she said, "So fucking." I was like, "Dang, she says it better than I." So I had to jump on there, and we named our new cat Gorgeous. So Turtle Gray, or if you want to say backwards, Gray Turtle. But so she came over and I said, "Oh baby, Gorgeous, so cute." And she goes, "Turtle Gray." Like she knew what it was. So that was exciting for me to know that she's learning. And she's learning so fast, Grandma's gonna keep up. But when we were talking about Lonnie, in some of the literature, Lonnie can be brown, it can be yellow, it can be green. It's just situational environment. If you're talking about, in the summertime, Lonnie leaves, then you can be talking about, either green or depending on if it's hot, kind of brown, like you look at the grass and it's brown. But for the purposes of teaching for public schools, they had to break it down with Lonnie being yellow and then fluffy Lonnie being green, so that's grass Lonnie. So that's how you know it's green, because they needed to have the same thing taught everywhere. But that's how that came about. Fluffy Lonnie's green, Lonnie's yellow, and then oak Lonnie, oak Lonnie is brown. That's why you see old texts is Lonnie, you mean all of those, and they had to break it down for the public schools when they teach it. Go ahead.
I know my dad taught us how to say black. He said Stilesti. That's how he said it.
Stilesti is a person.
Yeah.
Lusty is the color.
Oh, so like that.
Yeah. Okay. So Isteste. Isti, lusty. And then they put it together, Stilesti. And then just the color black is lusty. Okay. These are some of the things that we've all had to learn. And one of the funny things is I was in college at College of Mvskoke Nation, and she was talking about animals, and she said the owl. I said, "Anybody know what the owl is?" And I'm like, "Oh," I was all excited. I said, "Sticky." You should go there. No. Boba. She says the Yeti is a shapeshifter, and I was like, "Oh, so you really shouldn't be saying this all the time." I don't know, bad juju. But just little things like that we don't know until we find out. And some of us still say that, and I know some of my cousins say that. I'm like, that's called Boba. Oh, and so I had to help her understand, what we were saying. Yeah. Okay. And then Omi means life. If you look in the dictionary, it says life. So it's like Mvskoke, which is grapes. Omi, it's like grapes, like the color grapes, purple. Same thing with Johnny Omi. It's red, and it's like red, but pink. And the Laha, which is orange, it's like an orange. So it's the color. So these are some of the things that I've learned, and like I said, I went through college and did a lot of crying and shaking my head. I never remember this. But hopefully I'm making it to where you guys don't say something like that. Okay, vocabulary people, teacher, student, Mvhayv, teacher, Lichka, doctor, Chokoka, farmer, Noveja, chef. Okay, I haven't done this in a while. Fajija, judge. We'll hear it in the speaker. Like I said, if you haven't spoken in a while, you don't use some of this, you kind of lose it. So Mvhayv, secretary. Istiwanaya, policeman. Dotka Aslija, Aslijovi. Dotka Aslijovi, fireman. And that right there, the Ogi, that means more than one. So not an S, Ogi means more than one. That's why it's fireman instead of fireman. Dotka Aslijovi, firemen. And you see, like at some of the chukudis, bathrooms, you see Honanwa is the man, Hanan Ogi is men, so men's bathroom. Hokti is the woman, Hoktogi is women. So you see on the chukudis at work, these are there. So you know that it's more than one. Right. You know, Gogi Apasta. Nurse. And so the reason why I'm going back over this, I know we've already had it before, is we're going to try to use it in our sentences that we made.
Jogahija, student. Mahaya, teacher. Alikcha, doctor. Jabova Adotka, farmer. Notheja, chef. Ofachija, judge. Jogahaya, secretary. Istiwanaya, policeman. Dotka Aslija, fireman. Inokalgi Afasta, nurse.
I think I had the Aslija, and then I had this, and she said the other one. So what she said is fireman. The Dotka Aslijogi is fireman. So I can go back and correct that. But that's the difference if you heard it. How many of you caught that one? Okay. All right, yeah. So Dotka Aslija, I think I had that, and then we changed it, and I forgot to change it. But it's fireman. With the O, Aslijogi, firemen. Well, good thing you guys know when these things are not correct, because now that makes me know, hey, you guys know this, and you guys are, attention to detail. You guys are picking this stuff out. Like I said, I'm just going over these right now before we go over our new information. Just so you remember that we have already covered some of this stuff when we start making some. So we remember I think I spelled it. I don't know FEE in there. I think there's an M there. I think I spelled it right. Yeah, that's what we get to some things. All right. Well, softly. Okay. And that's corn drink. A busky, parched corn drink. A buskinika, corn soup. Busko-aki, grape dumplings. Salak sakmovki, dry bread. Konipki, pork and hominy. Like I said, we haven't been over this in a while. Talahaga, brown blue bread, kumboji, wild lemons.
Osafki, Abuski, Abuskinilka, Pasko Afki, Duck Lake Sakmulki, Sakonipki, Jadahaga, Davambuji.
You see how the difference in me speaking as a beginner or as a second learner, and how somebody who speaks it and who lives in the Mvskoke way sounds. And we're trying to speak like that, and you see that it's kind of got a rhythm to it and a richness.
Go
ahead.
On that, would it just be blue bread? I don't see where that wrap
the word round is in the study.
Right, it's not in there, but when you make blue bread, they make it round. So you know that Chattahoochee is round. So it's inferred that you know what Chattahoochee is, because you never see them make it square, or I haven't seen them make it square, but it's always like just a round blue bread. So that's why it's not in there. It's got its own name, and people who have Chattahoochee, kind of know how it's. Yeah.
But like when you say rock too, it's like the word rock.
Chattahoochee is rock, yeah.
So that's why they did,
kind of like, well, if you look at Chattahoochee, it kind of looks like a rock. Because remember, our language is descriptive. And if there wasn't a word for it, they just had to describe it. Like Yabolawagi for elephant, there's no word for elephant. Flexible nose, yeah. Something like that. And that's why I was asking the Mvhayv about, what is llama?
Well, the same with the airplane, because there's not a word like, they call it like a flying boat, because it looks like a boat, but it flies.
What did you say? What was it called?
Idanga is a boat, is an airplane.
Okay, because I learned, let's see, Bithi Dungle. That's how I learned it. And that means flying ship. But, just two different, ways to say the same thing. Just depends on who said it and how you learn. Like Shishi and Shishi. I learned Shishi from mouse, and I learned, in school Shishi. But, I don't know if that's a Seminole thing or just a regional thing, but I learned Shishi. And some people say, a lot of people say Shishi. Just like I say Ifa for dog, and some people say Ifa. And it's just how I've heard it. And like I said, I'm not going to go up and say, hey, your grandpa's speaking wrong. I can rhyme, but I may not be able to do that. Okay, so we are, this is the last one we're going to go over before we go over these. All right. So these are the kitchen items. And remember, the reason why we had done that is when you're, cooking or in a kitchen, you can go over some of these words and some of these things that make sense. Etika, bowl, yopanwa, pork, akuji, spoon, balakna, plate, dumla, glass, zidichka, napkin, Iskira, cup, Islavka, knife, hollow, halakna, and Siskira in Bataga, saucer, Idudi Kuti, refrigerator, Okoska, sink, Ispaska, room, Olegida, chair, Okumbida, table, Jodahaya, stove. Like that one, like you're talking about Shudda, it's raw pot. So stove. That's all descriptive. So let's hear how the speaker says it.
Adika. Jofunwa. Hakoji. Balakna. Damla. Hazadichka. Siskida. Islavka. Halo Balakna. Siskida Imbadaga. Hidodi Hoodie. Okoska. Ispaska. Legida. Hombeda. Jadohaya.
Remember, those are what I do for our PowerPoint so we can hear how it's supposed to be said or sounding. So, you know, we've got the Google Drive. How many have been in the Google Drive? You got the Google Drive in case you want to hear it. If you guys need the Google Drive address, I can give that to you. That's where all of our handouts and everything that we go over is in the Google Drive. So if you wanted to print it out, we have printed it out before. If you want it printed out, then you can print it out. What I tell all the learners in here is if you have something, because I like to put a lot of color in it, if you have something you want to print it out, just let me know, and I will have it printed out here, or I can print it out at work because it takes a lot of ink. And ink is not cheap. So if you have anything that you want me to print out, or if you guys find something you need printed out, just email me and I will have it printed out and we can have it here when you guys come to class. All right. All right, Ms. J. Ken, I see you online. We did get the resources sent to you, so you should get it probably next week, if not this week. So now let's go to Module 5. And 2. We're going to go for class 3 because this is stuff that we went over online in Zoom. So for those of us who are Seminole, or have some Seminole, the crane is a sacred bird. And so we see them flying around here in Oklahoma. You see them a lot in Florida. So I just wanted to give these names out to you so you can see it. So when you're seeing a bird, you know the name of those that are flying over. And I don't know. I'm still in awe when I see them just kind of flying around. They go slow, but it's kind of elegant. And one of them, I was praying this bird would be okay. It was, you know how in the middle of an intersection, these birds kind of swoop down, and you're like, no, there comes a truck. So it was going down, and I guess it caught a heat, you know, one of those heat graphs, and it went way up. So I was like, whoo. And I was praying because I was like, you don't ever want to see a bird hit. Those sacred birds, I really didn't want to see hit. But here's the names for the blue bird, the blue crane. Mvskoke. Let me play this for you.
Mvskoke, blue crane.
That's one of the things when we're doing some of these. Remember, the ah is the A and the is the V. So sometimes even some of the speakers, it's like, okay, did they say or But if you look at this, there's some people that spell it with an A, there's some people spell it with a V. But since we're learners,
Mvskoke, blue crane.
So Mvskoke is what we're looking for. So like I said, sometimes I'm not gonna, tell the speaker they're wrong, but since we're in depth in the language, there's some people that who can't even speak English like the way that you hear it all the time, but you know what they're saying. I just said, that's how it was spelled in the dictionary, and that's the word blue crane. You can also add a W-A-K-O, and everybody still knows what you're talking about. This was just for crane, and I'm not sure how to
Mvskoke, crane.
So now you guys know how to do it. I'm going to be practicing that one as well. And there's one more crane here.
Mvhayv, white crane.
Did anybody tell me what the first word, what you think the first word for and that is cut off. So you're talking about a bird, and then Hutka is what? White. And I'm still learning when to cut off and when to not cut off because, like I said, it just depends on which speaker you're talking to, So, but now we know Pushwam, we already know bird, Pushwam. So they just cut it off, Hutka. Hutka is, Hutki is white, so that's where you get that. And so when you're looking at something or reading something, you're gonna know where they get these descriptive words from.
Would that be specific hydrology thing for everyone?
Yeah. Yes. Pushkatkogi. Pushkatkogi. Because you would add it to, wait. Pushwa. It might be, they might, and I'm not sure, because like I said, I'm still learning, but they might put it on pushwa because it's more than one bird, and then hatka. That's a good question, yeah. Because you wouldn't say more than one white, you know. So I think I'll ask, and then we'll get back with that. But I think it would be pushwa is one bird, pushwalki would be more than one because it's a group, and then hatka. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because I know when you're talking about clans like gotcha ogi, it's your clans because it's gotcha and it's many. Ogi makes it many, so it's like a group. And then pushwalgi for the bird clan is your bird group. You know?
Yeah, that sounds like a probably
yeah, that's
That's why I'm the bird clan. And I have that tattoo on me that says Pushwalkie thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the group, so that would be a clan. So like Gotchalgi would be a group of tiger, people in tiger clan. So I think it would be Pushwalki, and then it might be Hutki. I don't know why it changes from Hutki to Hutka. I'm still learning that, and sometimes.
Yeah, ask about that because Olgi, from my understanding, it means like people or groups of people, clan, things like that. So if you were to talk about like animals, you'll do the Solgi or something that has many.
Right. Okay. But, yeah. I'll ask about that. That's interesting. That's a good question. And like I said, like when I was saying about some of the things, pass me something, I was like, all right. I know, pass me the plate. And she's like, no, it's only for food. So there are many, many different rules that I'm trying to jump on and make sure. Sometimes things change and it's like, why? And they're like, I don't know why. That's just how it is. And I'm like, okay. All right. So those are the cranes that we were looking at. Go ahead. You got a question?
Okay. Remember my class about halfway through. It's about 15 more minutes, I think.
Okay. All right. So these are our new vocabulary words. And Mvhayv is domestic animals. Mvhayv. All right. So how many of you guys know these? All right. And I put it out there because some of us don't know them. And sometimes some of us don't know the spell. You hear it, but you're like, oh, that's how it's spelled. It's like Ifa. Ifa. Us heard it. We don't know how to spell it. So let me go ahead and go through. I'll say it.
The closet went off there if you want to.
Word. Now, duck, waga, cow, taco, horse, stoka, pig, totolozi, and tolozi. So what we're going to get into is like cow meat, chicken meat, and stuff when we're talking about sentences. That's why I wanted to bring this up again, so you would know how to spell it and what you're talking about.
Domestic animals, aboika, borzi, cat, ifa, dog, bushwa, bird, jissi, mouse, fujo, duck, waga, cow, thako, horse, shukha, pig, dolosi, Totolosi, chicken.
And even on the Mvskoke language program, sometimes you see it one way or another way, depending on where you're looking. But both of them are right. It's just how people spell it and say it. Okay, so, and this is our Panada, the non-domestic animals. And you hear people say wild animals. But when I was looking at this specific text, it says non-domestic. So you can put wild animals, Panada. Istibaba, lion, Istibaba, lion. See, Isti is person, and that means eater, person eater, people eater. So Istibaba is just, cutting off meat. Like I said, some people say that, and some people say Istibaba, some people say Istibaba. I've always said Istibaba. Gotcha, and tiger, both ways are good. Woodful Isti, monkey, Loja, turtle. So remember and Yomolawagi, elephant, chitto, snake, lumpy, eagle, alligator. I should know that one. That's my grandpa's. That's my grandpa's clan. All right. Turkey, rabbit, deer, squirrel, Nupolchi, bear, woodcock, raccoon, yaka, wolf.
So my daughter, her middle name
Stibaba, lion. Gotcha, tiger. Wotko Isti, monkey. Loja, turtle. Yobolowagi, elephant. Chitto, snake. Lumhi, eagle. Hulbada, alligator. Juffy, rabbit. Ijo, deer. Itho, squirrel. Nogoshi, bear. Wotko, raccoon. Yaha, wolf.
You're saying your
daughter's my daughter, her middle name is Chofi, but of course people say cup. That's a cup.
or company or something. Yeah. So that we went over in class 2, so now we're in class 3. And I added one for class 3. So we went over the numbers. And the reason, like I said, I went over these is because all of these things we can use to make our sentences. Don't forget, you can go back and use all of these. All right, so I'm just trying to find. Sometimes when I put stuff in, okay, it's not there. When I put stuff in Google Drive, it's not always there. So let me go grab this real fast. It doesn't seem like the future 2 tense. If you guys had those, future 2 tense. I don't see it up here yet. So it looks like this, the future 2 tense. Grab this one out and you can follow along. Let me just check one. Sometimes, like I said, this just is not put on there. So it'll be there later, I promise you, because that's how it works. I don't see it. Okay, yeah, it's not. Maybe I put it in weeks. I don't think I put it in. All right, yeah, it's not there. Okay, so just get your hand out and we'll go over the handout. And let me see if I can put this close to where you can see it. All right, so future 2 tense, this is what we're going over for module 5. Distant future, there is L grading, but only in first person, a thee to thee, in rules, drop the ETB, add your person marker, and you see in there, is first person, which means I. It's, again, a second person, which means you. The third person is she, he, it, or they. So that's our person marker. Remember, in all of our conjugations, the only thing that changed was our person marker, for the most part. I think in module 1, we did some L grading, and sometimes the vowels changed. But this one, it says add the tense marker, athi, that means will. So that first person is athi. All right. Add the declarative ending S, and that means, on this one, it means the period of the end of the sentence. All right. Ask me why these rules are like it. I have no idea. But this is how it works. You know, I can't explain the exact dynamics. But that's what we're going to be doing for future 2 tense distant future. And I will make the template, and it will show you the L grading. All right. And I love the template because it's a plug and play. Go ahead.
Yeah. How do you pronounce the R-E?
The R-E. The. Wait, let's see. Opti for this one. For the A. Athi or the.
Yeah, that one. The second one.
Yeah. The. Because
The.
the R is the sub or flea sound. So the. All right. So that's what we're going to do. And let's see. So now get out your Mvhayv, step 1. Second. First person, the title is the second. But here is what, this is how the breakdown is. This is the rule in motion here, step by step. Okay, first person, there is L grading, but only in first person, athi to athi. All right, so only in first person are we going to change it to A or athi. Mvhayv, to eat. You drop your ETB and get the verb stem. You bring that down, you add your person marker on. Remember, on means I, first person. You add your the, which is RE, and add the tense marker will. First person only is RE, the. And then you add your S, declare any S. In this case, it means the period. Hombathis, hombathis. You can say this or fleece. Hombathis or hombathis. Because remember, the R is the or flee. And last time when we had class, I showed you guys the College of Mvskoke Nation. He said flee. And so it could be flee or flee. So hombathis. The verb stem, person marker, that's what the A is. I am doing something. Add your tense marker will, which is right here. R-E. That's your tense marker, means will. First person only. Okay. And then the declarative ending, meaning the end of the sentence, is S. Hombathis. Hombathlis. I will eat. Okay. So remember, I will make up a template so you can just do the same thing that we've been doing. That's just the plug and play of the infinitive verbs. I will be getting more infinitive verbs. When I do something, I always got the highest check. So I'm not presenting something wrong. And I want to present it in a way that we all understand. All right. So that is what we are going to learn. Like I said, this is the future 2 tense that we're going to learn. Distant future, since you guys have already done a lot of the conjugation, in a couple of weeks, then I'll be doing the future 2 tense negation. I will not eat. I will not cook. I will not sleep. So right now I will sleep. I will cook. So you guys are doing really good on that. And since we have, was it Catherine? That's Chris. Okay, I know. Chris, thank you. Because I have another question. Okay, Chris, since you are, this is your first time, just go ahead and I'll go over the sounds for you so you can see what we're talking about, the changes and the difference.
Thank you. No.
He said we all, even Mvhayv, some of the Mvhayvs that are first speakers, they go over the sounds, and sometimes we'll just sit there and we'll have to revert because English creeps in there sometimes. And you know, even though you don't want to, sometimes English creeps in there and you'll start saying something wrong. Not Mvskoke way, if you want to say. I'm not going to say wrong, but not Mvskoke way.
My dad used to say Mudrow.
Mudrow?
Yeah. He used to be a joker, so I mean, it's funny. Yeah, he just had to do that. It's humor.
Well, you know, Mr. Johnny have humor, and they're always. I was the only girl out of all the boy cousins who got teased all the time, and it was always me. Oh, hoopty, hoopty, hoopty. I'd be sitting there watching TV. Hoopty, hoopty. And I'm like, all the other ones are no. Hoopty, hoopty. Always me, always me. All right, so this is the Mvskoke alphabet. This is the way that helped me remember it, is looking at English words, trying to find the Mvskoke in the English words. This is Mvskoke sounds. When I was going through College of Mvskoke Nation, you would hear these things in class, but you would lose the sound sometimes if you didn't hear it. So I put, was easy for me to remember, is right here. A is like an Oklahoma, and you got the image there because a lot of us are visual. Oklahoma, and then C, cheese, like cheese, and then short E, it, like in it. And right there you see the baseball player. Long E, like in feet. And then the FB, like in feast. The H is P, like in heat. And remember, sometimes some of these, one of the things about Mvskoke languages, it doesn't discriminate. Everybody gets a voice. Every little, word, letter gets a voice. And sometimes the H is more of a, it's not a he. So you got to remember that, that sometimes they sound a little different. And then I is A, like in hay. Hay is he or he sound. He, something like he. But sometimes you hear a he sound. It depends on who you're speaking with. Some people say more key sound. Sometimes people like the Mvhayvs I work with say key. You hear key. So key sound. I put it there because you're going to hear both of them. L is lead, like in leader. M is me, and I put me there. Picture symbolizing. N, me, like in me. O, like in school. O, so there's not the O sound. O, P, got the PD sound, like me. Sometimes you hear P, depending again who you're speaking with. More P, sometimes you hear more B. The speakers in the language program say B. So Benoit, like Turkey, Benoit, instead of Benoit. R's got the B sound, athlete, C. S has the C sound, like in the C. T has a TB sound, like in deer. So you hear like with dumpka. You hear them saying with dumpka, so with dumpka. All right. And then U is goose, like in shoe. V is up, like under. W is we, like we. And Y is ye, like you. Like I said, sometimes it'll change. So let's go through it really fast, and then that'll conclude the class tonight. But no, it's a Friday. We got some plans. Everybody's got plans. Obviously.
Go ahead.
G, E, B, E, A, E,
G,
B,
D,
B,
B,
O,
O,
B,
B,
or C,
C,
B,
T,
we. Okay, did that help you? Did that help a little bit? How there's differences in our Mvskoke sounds?
Yeah, I got three nieces, got middle names, Roxana, Nadia, and Nabila. You know, you've heard of them before? No. Well, Awana stands for Nadia means mover, and the other one, Bila means smile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have names on it. My dad's sister gave him the name, so he gave it to my sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let me say, Madam Chikachika, please. I will see you again, and Mado for being online. See you later.